Hello, and welcome to the next part of our meditation series on how to meditate or learn how to meditate. I am Gabriela of CNA Yoga, and today I am sporting my Ernie shirt. So if you watched the previous video, you saw I have Bert, now I have Ernie. It was just something fun. My job got us nice t-shirts for Halloween last year, and so just a little element of fun for everybody. So in the previous video, we were talking about the 6 points of posture. And when we think about the seat or the first point of posture, there's some additional things that I wanted to share with you. And today I actually have a few props to show you. Um, so as we think about cultivating our own meditation practice, we want to focus on the 6 points of posture that you can refer to in the previous video. And you also want to think about sort of the surroundings. So what's it going to look like when you do step into your meditation? So there's some elements about having more of a conducive posture to meditating, and then also some elements that might just really augment or add to your meditation practice. I think at the end of the day, I have found through cultivating my own meditation practice that it's really got to be something that's going to make sense to you. Now, that's not to say that there's some days that the meditation that you have chosen is going to feel challenging because you're really trying to push through or move through something kind of big. So it's not to say that those days you can just kind of like, oh, throw that aside and then completely do something super easy. Because a big part of meditation is really helping you peel back the layers, helping you remove things that no longer serve you, helping to cleanse and purify the mind, um, and really work with your thoughts. So I wanted to share a couple of different things. When you meditate, it is very common for your body temperature to change. Usually that means that people tend to get colder. So you may want to think about having a blanket that you can, wrap around your legs, or maybe it might feel better to just have, something around your shoulders. I know that different places sell meditation wraps or shawls. And just really depending on what feels good to you, you can either, buy something like that, or you are welcome to grab a blanket or get some socks, or maybe just put some warm clothes on or layers. Layers can be great because until you kind of understand how your body is going to regulate itself when you do meditate, you might want to easily be able to take a layer off or put a layer back on. In the previous video, I also mentioned the idea that when you do sit in a cross-legged position, that sometimes, depending on your body type, your knees might end up flaring up. So when you do that, it's just not going to help, with that feeling of setting a nice, comfortable space for meditation. So you can use a few different tools. Blocks is the one that my eyes went to. So these are just yoga blocks. The nice thing about these is you can see that there's a lot of different ways that you can rotate them. And then if you have two of them, you can adjust the height in different ways. So if your knees do tend to, let's just say, flare up, because that's a pretty common thing, you can put some blocks underneath it to prop them up. And so then that just kind of allows you to surrender, right? To allow the gravity to work its magic, but also to have the support, especially if you can't reach the support of the ground. So bring the ground up to you. And depending on where you're at, right, you might need to adjust the blocks in different ways, and you play around with it, make it comfortable for you. Another tool that is very common is a meditation cushion or bolster. It can be as simple as a cushion off your couch or a pillow off of your couch, or it can be something, again, much more meditation, like a meditation product, if you will. This is a bolster. You can see it's pretty long, it's relatively flat, but if you do find yourself wanting a bolster, you can just play around with the height. For me personally, this height is too high, so it kind of drops my knees down a little farther than I want to go. But I am very flexible in the hip flexor area, so it might be perfect for you. Or you can wrap up, roll up a blanket or add a couple different blankets so that really have a flexibility of the height. I know that there's a lot of different kinds of meditation cushions, round, big, smaller, moon shaped, this bolster shape. So if you have the ability to maybe go to a shop or go to a yoga studio that might have a variety of these cushions, then that might be a nice way for you to try different things out. Otherwise, you can always just try ordering something and, of course, make sure that you can return it if it doesn't work for you. So you really just want to play around with different things until you can find something that feels really comfortable to you. And as I sit here, actually, it's starting to feel really comfortable. So maybe I haven't given it enough of a chance to meditate in this position. But generally, for me, as I've mentioned before, this seems to work fine. I also brought a chair because yesterday we talked a little bit about, or the previous video, we talked a little bit about um, meditating in a chair. So there are going to be a few little differences. As you meditate in a chair, depending on how far back the back is, I guess, you may find yourself sitting more towards the edge of the chair so that your legs are at this 90-degree angle, feet firmly planted on the ground. And then this allows you to have a really nice straight posture, but let's say elongated posture. So you may want to play around with the type of chair that you use as well if this is more comfortable to you. And again, if you watch the previous video, you'll see that when you get yourself comfortable, then you can figure out what to do with your hands, um, and so on and so forth. Also, you might have a chair where it feels really good to allow yourself to rest on the back. Um, but honestly, right now, I am kind of leaning back a little bit, so that's probably not going to be the most ideal. So you're definitely going to want to try and move forward. Sorry, a little moth just flew by. So, um, so really just play around with it, but know that sitting in a chair is most certainly a great way to meditate as well. So you just have to figure out what works best for your body. And at the same time, know that there are options for you because there might be days where, let's just say maybe you're a runner and you did a really huge run the day before, and this position, like sitting cross-legged, just is not comfortable, but you want to keep your meditation going, so you know that maybe a chair would work for you that day. There's parameters and there's guidelines, but honestly, at least from where I sit, the whole point is to cultivate your own meditation practice. So I do want to share one note about music. In Kundalini Yoga, which is the primary type of yoga that I teach, there are specific mantras that are set to music. And so we use those, and some meditations will actually prescribe specific mantras that you can then, look for the various artists who sing those mantras and then incorporate that into your meditation. I know sometimes there are certain sounds, binaural beats, um, solfeggio frequencies uh, that might work really well for you. And I know YouTube, and I'm sure like iTunes and your favorite place to listen to music or stream music, if you start looking some of these things up, you may find, for example, I know on YouTube you can find some music that might be attuned specifically to one of the chakras. So, say you're working on your heart chakra, and that day you decide that you would love to have a little bit of, vibrational support with the beats, the music, then you can most certainly try meditating to music. You're also, I'm sure there's some schools of thought that believe that meditating in silence is the best way. But again, I feel that as you learn and grow and develop your intuitive self, that your intuition is going to guide you to exactly what you need that day. So again, various types of props, chair, blocks, cushions, blankets, all here really as supportive tools to help you figure out the best practice for that day. As always, if you have any questions or any comments and you'd like to address them to me, please go ahead and drop a comment below or send me an email. And I look forward to sharing more information as you learn how to meditate. Have a great day.